and welcome, strangers and friends, back to the Strangers Guild, Tales from D'aowVern. We are looking a little new today. My name is Caleb the Bard. I am the Dungeon Master for a different group today. Some of y'all will recognize Betty with a little bit of a different moniker today. We'll explain that in a second. And Kayla, who some of y'all might recognize as Court of Kayla on all forms of social media. I'll let them plug that when we do the proper introductions. But today is a historical day. We are seeing moments that have happened in the past. However, enough about me. As always, we have the socials down below. We have Lady M's little character art over here. We have the chat on the bottom corner of the screen. So if you want to interact on Twitch, you can. But first, Betty, if you would like to introduce yourself and your character.
How should I introduce my character today is the question.
That is the question. It's a little different than normal.
Okay. Hi, my name is Betty. I play I am who.the.lovely on TikTok and Instagram, and I'm so excited for the stream today. Thank you, Kayla, for joining us. And I play our resident bard who does look a little different, and I'm gonna popcorn it to Kayla.
Oh, okay. Well, hello everybody. I'm Kayla, and my socials is at Court of Kayla on Instagram and TikTok, and then I also have an Etsy called the Shop of Kayla that Beth helps me with, where we make D&D inspired jewelry.
All of that will be
And I'm happy
plugged
to be here.
all over the place. We are so excited to host Kayla today. In the past couple of weeks, some backstory, some lore have been revealed. And as a DM and as a storyteller, I wanted to get these two friends and sisters at the same table. We do start, Kayla, at a place you've never been. D'aowVern, which Betty is more familiar with. There is a massive cathedral in the middle. It's a mountain, but at the base there is a thriving city. You look around and you see no magic. You do, however, see all sorts of fantastical creatures. Tieflings, gnomes, orcs. You'll notice that this is roughly a week before the Bracone event happened that kicked off our first team session. We see a shop, the Lady's Hand, that is the workplace and the home of what most know to be Lady M, a apothecary, a seller of potions, a bit of a performer, and on stage at times, but mostly in the everyday walk of her life. We see Lady M sitting at the counter, dealing with a customer, nothing crazy. The curly red hair of this young girl reminds you of someone. And as she leaves and you start to close down the shop, you let your concentration drift away from D'aowVern, away from the city, back to a very different time and place. Kayla, for all new players, I like to adopt a policy that I call making your own bed. Your character, and I will let you describe them, is waking up, starting your day. And if you could give me just a simple routine of what that looks like for you.
Yes, so Megara wakes up when the sun begins to shine right at dawn, right when it rises, and she awakens in a very beautiful chamber and immediately begins to put on her clothing for today, which today is a dark red slip with a chainmail thin dress that goes over it. And she puts on this dark gray feathered mantle on her shoulders that ties with a little golden clasp. And she quickly does her hair in an efficient series of just little braids. Her hair is a fiery shock of red. and she dons a diadem that's silver and curls upward in like little melted spirals. And she makes sure that her dark lipstick, the color of blood, is on perfectly. She puts golden eyeshadow over her amber eyes, and she sheathes her daggers on her thighs up a slit up this chainmail dress. And she has a cup of tea ready to face on the day as soon as possible.
Kayla, I'll explain why, but as you start your day, I need a charisma saving throw.
That's a 2 + 4, which is... Oh, wait, saving throw, JK. That's 7. So 2 + 7 is 9.
Okay.
A little bit better. A little bit better.
Megara, as you look at your tea, the steam hits your face, and a warmth that is more than just the cup in your hand or the steam that hits your cheek. You feel in the back of your mind a light burning as the closest mirror. Your reflection does show, but on this morning, in the periphery of your reflection, there are a pair of two golden, almost green eyes that stare at you as the tea rejuvenates you and you go about your day. But Megara, you leave this place and those eyes, only for as long as the steam is present, are there. And then as the tea cools, or as you finish your cup, they disappear. We pan out to a massive tree. Outside your window, there are a series of pixies and hummingbirds, doves, dancing lights. And to the typical viewer, or to one from the material plane, all of these animals would seem gargantuan. This doesn't surprise you, though, because you know that in Alessandra, the tree itself is a city thriving with life, but the surrounding area of the Feywild is unaffected by the magic that Alessandra holds. But part of the takeaway is that while you reside in this tree, you are small. You would fit in my hand. And again, that's not crazy to you. I will say, as you leave your room, your space, what do you think is your first impulse to start your day? As you're ready, you're fully dressed.
I think that she would go see if she can find the corporal.
Okay. Give me an investigation check.
18 + 4 is 22.
Okay. Kayla, it takes you a while. A couple minutes, probably 20 to 30 minutes, just kind of like zooming around the tree, bumping a couple people. You notice that as you go through, most of the hallways and the rooms are actually just a series of branches and roots that are hollowed out or deviate to make space. And so a lot of the people here don't wear shoes unless they're nobility or, you know, on an important mission of some kind. But you see a lot of gnomes and halflings and elves and all sorts of mystical, seelie and unseelie, just kind of running around. You make your way to one of the clearings, and I say clearing loosely because it's actually just a spot in the tree where branches connect, but it's a mossy kind of field area. And you do find the corporal. Vostek is training a couple of the other unseelie court members. Most of them are wearing hoods or padded tree bark, or they have webs to cover their face. As you see this man, relative to yourself, about 2 heads taller than you. He's very tall, arms burly, the head of a bear. Full armor made what looks to be acorn and salmon scale. He is the one who has been training you, preparing you for your duties to come, separate from others that have the responsibility of teaching you things. The corporal is more of very general, very X's and O's of military combat, that sort of thing. My lady, how are you this morning?
Oh, I'm good. I'm glad that I found you when I did.
And why were you looking for me?
Oh, I was wondering if you had any more books on the art of war. I did enjoy the other read very thoroughly.
Interesting. Well, I can give nothing for free. Pick up a stick. As you see, Kayla, you turn around, and this is a very spontaneous training. The sticks around you, you pick it up, and it doesn't have the form of traditional blades and spears and axes and that sort of thing. It is just a bunch of sticks. But what do you think that your character would be drawn to as you kind of look around? And I'll say there's no shortage of these as you kind of search the area around you. What kind of stick are you looking for to defend yourself?
One that won't break if she hits somebody, but one that looks like a stick that nobody else would pick.
You look around, and the first couple kind of break. You're excited, very driven by your motivations and your thirst for knowledge. None of these quite fit your fancy. However, you do find one that is very jagged. It looks almost like the curl in your hair. And you pick it up, and it's actually, there's a head of the mushroom on top of it. And the others look to you and with your frame think that this is probably a little too heavy for you. But the corporal chuckles. Very well. You see him kind of strain as he's pulling these two rather small branches, but it uproots, and a root that had been under the moss is pulled up, and he holds the two handles as what would appear to be just a massive log. Land a blow, and you get your literature.
It's a fine morning indeed. And she goes to unclip her, feather thing that she had on her shoulder, and then will step out of her chainmail dress, so she's just in her, slip. And she's going to attempt to land a blow, I guess.
Very quickly, because this is a simple interaction, and one that you've had before. The corporal is very by the book when it comes to rules dealing with the High Court. However, he knows that you are busy. If I could get just a simple initiative and attack roll.
Initiative is 12 plus 2, 14.
Okay.
And then a 15. And I don't know what modifiers you would have on that with this stick, but
cool. Yeah.
It's base roll.
I'll say with the base roll. I did roll an opposed check. You see him step forward first. However, he might have slightly underestimated how easy it was going to be to use this spontaneous plank to hit you. And the onlookers watch, you kind of get used to the weight for a second, but Megara is nimble. You dodge the first couple of glances, and the acorn helmet with the little piece off the top revolves as you hit him on the side of the head, and it turns, and the corporal kind of drops his log and is reaching out, and he can't see for a second, and he readjusts, and he's like, yeah, very, very good, just as I taught you. You all can go, and he motions for the others to leave, and he starts to discuss with you in a way that is customary how you would get these books. Kayla, for a moment, I'm going to pan away from this. You as a third party would see yourself talking to the corporal, but some flying spirit, a pixie, a light bird, flies up through the tree, and you see the different happenings of different courts of both Fey and man and different planes, as this is kind of, in a Maj Podge way, the Fey Mecca, where meetings dealing with interplanar and intersections of culture meet here. And in a lot of ways, this is the doormat to the Feywild. But we go up through the tree and we break through the leaves and we see the open sky as the sun begins to rise, and we go down quickly into the roots, into the deep, dark soil. Betty, can you explain your character in appearance and in nature, but also with the understanding that you are currently being directed on how to torture someone at the jest of your mother? We won't go into detail of that. It's not going to be gory, but I would like a bit of an explanation of what your character looks like and how they are behaving in this moment.
I imagine in this room, this has been happening all night. This is probably hour 16, maybe 17. And I imagine there's just like one or two cracks in the rootage where light can streak through, barely. So Medea would know that it is morning and would know how long this has been happening, and is frankly, this is probably the third or fourth time her mom has shown her this. She gets it, right? So she's probably a little antsy in the sense that she knows how to do this, and mom is just being mom, right? Her hair is silver like moonlight, and it cascades kind of down her back. The front of it is pinned up in a little bun. It was probably pinned up maybe hour 4 or 5, so maybe it is a little worse for wear at this point. She wears a low cut, it's like just fabric draped over her. She's got this gorgeous porcelain skin, has the little moles on her, what you can't see on M, but you can see on Medea because of the clothes that she wears, as she's just got little moles kind of on her shoulders and on her sides and things. And the drapery is kind of tucked back and tied up, so it can be out of her way and she doesn't get it dirty, because she doesn't want to have to do laundry after this. She just wants to go to bed. And so anyway, she is eagerly awaiting her mother's instruction, but also has been doing this for a long time and knows what she's doing, and is antsy that mom is still keeping her.
There's a moment, Medea, when you feel the tools, unusual and gnarly in appearance. In front of you is someone you don't know. There's no, to your knowledge, no reason for this, but your mother is insistent, and you know not to go against her teaching. As you feel the moonlight shift to sun, as your hair glows still, but less so, as a moment of silence as you reach a break is broken by birds starting to tweet in the ground above you. Your mother puts her hands over yours, and to say that her touch burns doesn't quite do justice. It's almost as if her touch is so cold that the skin on your hand burns as a way to keep from freezing off. As she grabs you by the shoulders, as per usual, your skin singes a little bit. She turns you to the mirror. Today is a big day. Are you ready?
Yes, Mother.
Very good. Do you know why I asked you to do this?
To teach.
And what did you learn?
Patience.
Very good. She does have a physical form. However, as she speaks, her voice comes from different, because as the sun starts to rise, different spots of the room are lit, which means that certain spots of the room are the darkest. Her voice only comes from the darkest point of any space as it hovers and it bounces around. And the last thing you hear from her is, "Very good." But at this point, the voice comes from the person on the wall as their changeling hair hangs over their face. The shackles turn back to wood where before they were a type of metal, and the wood brings them into the soil and they disappear, and you are alone in the basement. As per usual, you don't know what will happen, but it seems that you passed this trial, this test.
I know well and good that I'm alone.
Give me a perception check.
LOL, that's cocked. And that's bad. Oh, let's see. +6. Okay. 13.
You leave this space, and as per usual, when you exit the room, you turn around and the dirt door frame closes, as these spaces are always different, always moving. It's almost as if your mother speaks them into presenting themselves. I will say you take the appropriate time to kind of clean yourself off, make yourself presentable, as you know that you will be seeing quite a few people today, as the big announcement is coming. You don't see or hear anyone, but as you leave, the frame of a small person could be seen at the last moment jumping out of the room and finding a different path to take. As you go up the stairs, I will
And I'm
say
going to my room if I have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And describe that a little bit to me.
Yeah, Medea's room. I don't know how many times that's gonna happen during the stream. Medea's room is dark. It's dark. I don't imagine she would live. She has a giant window on her wall, but I don't think she doesn't live high up in the tree.
Right.
She lives close to the bottom in the roots, and there's just candles everywhere. Candle wax is melted over every surface, and it's very clean and very organized, and she's not trying to hide anything in this space because she knows no one is stupid enough to come into her room. So yeah, she's gonna get to her room, light a couple candles, close her curtain against the sun in the morning, and change into kind of like a shimmering blue dress that kind of cascades over the back of her. It has like floral lace kind of overlaying the body of the dress. It's very flowy, very loose. It's a little sheer, and she does not put shoes on, and is going to put a little moon lily in her hair, and she redoes her hair. She's gonna do the half up again, but she's gonna put a little moon lily on the side of her hair, and maybe like some dewdrops.
As you present yourself, you hear a knock at the door that is brittle, as you notice that it is not a full fist knock. It is as if someone is getting their knuckle and tapping it. "Can I come in?" As you recognize Oberon, your father.
Em is going to open her curtain, and then, of course, father.
Very good. The door opens, and your father is not standing there. It is a pale elf. You can't quite tell if they're drow or changeling, probably a combination of the two. They are holding a music box on a tray as they step forward, and your father's voice comes from it. "Sorry, dear, I am very busy with everything that is going on today. I just knew that this was the easiest way to contact you." will you be joining us for the picnic?
Yes, Father.
Get your sisters together. I think you'll like your reward for this one.
That will be all. And she'll excuse the elf.
The music box starts to sizzle and burn as the elf, not again, and they run out and they turn the corner and you hear as a trail of smoke. I'm okay. And they go off, but you recognize that this is something that your father would have done before.
Yeah, that's so funny. Okay. Ugh. All right. I'm gonna shut my curtain. I'm gonna unlight, LOL, extinguish my candles, and I'm gonna go to Clotho's room.
Okay.
I'm gonna go knock on Clotho's door.
I will say, as you get on your way to do so, Kayla, you talked to the corporal, you got your books. Was there something specific you were looking for, or was this just a little addition?
Just a little addition, just some light reading on combat strategy.
Gotcha. On this morning specifically, because you know it's an important day, your father's been leaving cryptic clues as to stuff that you'll have to do. Nothing concrete, so you're just trying to be as prepared as possible. But you're lost in your book as you're weaving between people, and you pass a window, and you know this tree as well as your sisters, but better than most. And you pass this person, and you straighten, close your book, and turn around, and you see your youngest sister, Clotho, sitting at the edge of the window with her feet hanging off. A collection of moths and butterflies and sprites and flickering lights kind of dance around her. As per usual, for the most part, she doesn't say much. She doesn't make a lot of eye contact either. And any point where you think that she would, or you ask a question that would elicit a response, when she looks to you, a different flying either insect or little bird falls on her face. And usually it's a way to articulate her mood and her reaction. But at this point, she just stares out over the Feywild, all of the creatures in the distance.
Good morning, sister.
She doesn't speak, but in a familiar nod, she says, "Good morning."
Where's Temric? Is he not annoying you yet this morning?
She, stiff but with purpose, looks down, and you see a root that is actually on the outside of the tree that winds around, and you see Temric holding a series of baskets and supplies and scrolls, and very clumsily running up, and he gets to the window, and Clotho gestures.
There he is. I was wondering why he wasn't with you. Usually where one goes, the other's not too far behind.
Well, I am usually pretty close.
Yeah, you have a lot in your hands. Are you sure you can carry all that?
Yes, this is apparently for, and he turns to Clotho, and this is apparently for, lunch today.
Oh, for who?
I'm presume for y'all. Apparently your father has something planned. Some sort of test or something.
Oh, well, if it's testimony, better go change.
Well, I don't think it's for you, my lady.
Of course it's not for me. Yeah, alright.
But I mean, you two spend a lot of time together, you and your father. Did he not tell you?
Well, you know my father, he tells it when it's important, so I'm sure it just hasn't been important enough to mention completely yet to me.
Ah. Well, and you see as he starts to say something else to further put his foot in his mouth, Clotho just puts a hand on his shoulder. If it was faster, would have been a shake of her head, but it just simple. Right. My apologies. If you need... Oh, I need to bring this to... I'll be right back. And he runs off. I will say at this point, you sit by Clotho. What do you say to your sister?
Well, I think Megara mostly talks out loud. And I think she pulls up one of her sleeves and is fiddling with a little golden bracelet. Someone gave this to me recently. It's a lovely gift, don't you think? I do love the way that it sparkles in the sun. It doesn't quite do it justice in here in the shaded parts of the tree. Isn't it pretty?
She doesn't look down, but one of the butterflies that are in her hair lands on your wrist, and the wings tap as she says yes.
He's quite special. At least I hope he is. Unlike me. Anyways, you excited for whatever is happening today?
She looks straight ahead, and she is a little shorter than you, but for a brief second, and just obscured by a moth that brushes against her cheek, you think you might have seen a tear. As Medea, you approach.
Good morning. You look lovely today, as usual.
Thank
I do
you.
like this one.
It's
Yeah.
new. I don't. It's blue is not normally a color I would wear, but I like it too. Thank you.
No, I think it looks good.
Thank you. I love your chainmail. Is that new?
Yes, this is a new piece I commissioned. I think it turned out rather lovely. It's very
beautiful.
movable, breathable, but still I think gives the presence that I want it to, if that makes
Can
any
you fight in it?
sense. Oh yes, but earlier I took it off to, hit the corporal for
You hit
work.
the corporal.
Oh yes, it was quite easy. Everyone thinks it's hard and scary, but he's not really. You know how he is.
I do know how he is. Clotho, how are you this morning?
You notice Megara's looks at her and you can tell, like with sisterly eyes, that she's a little concerned. Something feels a little not normal.
Can I get a history check from both of you?
Oh no. 13.
Oh,
Yes! I know nothing. I know
Love this.
nothing.
Yep. And then, but I do have a +7 to history, so that's 27.
You better work. You better work.
okay.
Was I not asking about like a combat book, a history combat book strategy earlier? Like, is this hard to
She
believe?
said I'm a reader. She said I'm a reader.
I'm educated, okay?
In this moment, Medea,
Yeah.
Megara explains that she hits the corporal, and your mind just goes back to your mother has been training you.
Mm-hmm.
But based off of your first few combat lessons, made it a requirement for your training to hold place at night alone, and if anyone else is to see it, they usually don't stick around the city very long.
Right.
Because you know from firsthand experience that the corporal is rather difficult to hit. You usually don't get a solid blow on him. You get through his tests very well. In the classroom, you tend to embarrass him a lot, but he tends to take it out on you during your training sessions. Megara, as you bring your concern to the forefront, you're for a moment taken from this place, not physically, but in focus, as there's a moment in, they call it the Hall of Flower. It's where your father and the corporal, and sometimes Clotho, pour over a garden, and you think to the first time that you asked about the flowers, because there's specifically only red and green flowers in this garden. But as Fey folk, you know that there's too many in this place. The vines seem to choke each other. It's as if these two types of plant don't get along. And you remember the last time you saw your sister maybe cry was when your father explained that this garden is actually a war room. And the flowers are direct, real-time representations, the war of man. And the last time you saw your sister like this was when she realized that these green flowers with gold trimmed to their petals had started to choke out and kill the deep red and black. And you're brought back to this moment with your sisters.
So do you know what is planned for the day?
I know as much as you do. I got a message from Father this morning that prompted me to come. So
Yeah, what did he say? Did
he just told
give
me
any
to.
details?
No, unfortunately. Why is this accent so difficult when you're doing an accent and I'm doing an accent and I
It's
can't
because
do
us
it?
in real life slip into
I can't do it.
so
I
much.
can't do it. I can't. Okay. Medea is going to kind of step forward. I don't want to like sit in between them. I just want to like kind of occupy the same space, and is going to make a milkweed and put it in Clotho's lap for her butterflies and moths to feed on. I think whatever it is, he would like all of us there. So, if you don't have plans for the day,
I suppose I can make time for this for you guys.
thank you.
I know. You're welcome.
Clotho, are you busy today?
You turn and Clotho is gone as a swirl of butterflies and moths and birds seem to have picked her up and she's dissipated. She does this quite a lot.
Was something happening with her?
I don't know. Temeric, he was acting flustered but normal, but she seems... I'm not sure.
Did Temric say anything?
No, just that he was helping prepare whatever we're doing this afternoon. But I saw a tear go down her face. I don't see her cry very often.
Oh, no.
So I don't know what that means, but perhaps we should keep a close eye on her. She hasn't spoken to her, right? Because I know Oberon hasn't.
No, she hasn't.
And you're sure of this?
Yes, she's been with me.
Okay. And I think this knowing look passes between us.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, would we know where... does she have somewhere she usually bops away to when she bops away? Or does she usually just go and do her thing and show up when she needs to?
It's mostly that. She usually,
Okay.
and I will say, both of you give me an insight check.
11.
Well, 15.
Both of you think that you know where she would go in this moment. But I'm going to say that it's different. And as per usual, y'all realize that splitting up and finding her and then meeting back is probably the best. And Meg, you split from your sister as Medea goes to find Clotho, and you go to find Clotho.
Please meet me for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
As she says this, Medea turns the corner. Meg, you had started to walk one way. You turn your head and book at the other. You take a very meticulous set of turns as you are not looking for Clotho. You're dodging, at one point your father walks by and you avoid him. there's a dark hall that you sense your mother might be in, and you avoid that. As a doorway, a curtain of vines, almost willow in nature, appear, but only when you put your hand on the bark of the tree and it burns a little bit, and that light burn presents the vine, and you enter this space. I'm going to explain what happens there later. Medea,
Oh no.
you make your way
Where did you go?
to a
did you
point
go?
in the tree that you don't usually like to go because it's very bright. There's a lot of sunlight.
Oof.
It's a relative to you all, it's a rather large leaf. It is a smaller branch, but this one leaf goes out farther than the rest of the canopy of the tree. And it's where Clotho likes to sit when they are feeling isolated, alone. However, before you are able to step out, because it is kind of a walk towards the end of the branch, you feel very crisp and pointed and powerful, but not menacing. Your father stands behind you and he grabs your arm. How did you upset her?
I did nothing.
Of course. Anyway, I told you there was a reward after lunch today.
Yes.
Your mother and I, mostly I, think it's time for a bit of a break. Today's the day. And if lunch goes without losing anything, you will have the crown by dinner.
Okay.
You turn and your father is gone. And behind you, give me a perception check.
You lose now. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hey, that's a natural 20. What? Hold on, let me put that
Session,
in
I
for
think
rolls.
that's pretty cool. I think that's
That's
pretty cool
iconic.
too.
Wait,
I think that's pretty
iconic.
cool.
Wait a minute. That's wild. Okay, hold on. Let me put it in improver rolls. Perception. That's a 26.
You turn, and your father has no one around him, which is kind of rare. He usually has kind of a train of people to his will, doing whatever weird little trickery that he's up to. However, that perception check was not for your father. You turn around and you see on either side of Clotho, behind her, but too coincidental, the sun on one side and Obus on the other, as Clotho is openly weeping. And you see her eyes. She knows, and you can't put a finger on how you know this, but she knows something bad's going to happen today. And that is where we're going to take our break.
Looking for a new podcast? Come escape with Dice Company, a D&D adventure where 4 unlikely friends battle an evil empire. We've got epic storytelling,
Time for a new life, maybe a new name to go with his new face.
thrilling fights,
What he'd like to do is kick this guy in his zombie balls.
terrible teamwork,
If you want to do it, you can do it yourself.
and an extremely literal automaton.
For the mushrooms to work, they must be passed through a reindeer, and you must drink their urine.
That's Dice Company, available wherever you get your kicks.
Medea just got some comforting
Aw.
news and some
Doesn't make me sad 'cause
uncomforting
that's just so sad.
vibes.
Yeah.
Megara, I narrated you entering this space. You step behind this secret room that you enter for not nefarious reasons per se, but it can be hard to find your own space in a tree. Your father showed you how to carve your own space to keep things hidden. And I talked to you a little bit before session about some conversations that you've been having with other people. Because Medea is in this call, I'm not going to say who it is you are talking to in this room, in this space. But if Kayla, you could let me know which conversation you think you would want to have in this moment. There's one dealing with the voices. There's one
Okay.
dealing with the trial.
Okay.
And there's one dealing with courtship.
Oh, these are 3 good options. Lots of stuff behind each of these. Let's go. Let's do something a little fun. Let's do courtship. Why not?
Okay. You enter the room, and before you can even react, you feel a hand around your wrist, the other at the base of your back as you are turned and pushed into the wall. The voice is muffled to anyone else. The days burn less bright without you by my side.
Oh, darling, I know. You alright? You seem more intense.
His lips and his voice speak into your neck. So they have not told you.
She still's told me what? I know there's something going on later today, but there's always something going on. I mean, it's nothing new. Nobody tells me anything. It's fine. It's probably fine. Why? Do you know something?
The transfer of power will happen today. And the heir has been confirmed. I had hoped it would be you.
What do you mean it's been confirmed? Who confirmed this?
Your father. He told the House of Sparks, Cornell and Medea will be wed come nightfall.
Oh. All in one day? So soon? Is this what you want? Was this just what you've been told to do?
Instruction to the Sealy Court is that the Lord Cornell, if the truce is to continue, the lineage cannot deviate.
No. So you're just going to go with whatever they tell, whatever they say to do, like a little puppet. You're going to choose her. They're going to choose her. Everyone is going to choose her. I don't know why I'm surprised.
If she marries him, I will not be able to see you again.
Of course. And I think she takes off her bracelet and lets it clatter onto the floor. Is this what you want? Just to walk away? Just do what you're told, what everybody tells everybody to do, because everybody just listens to what they're supposed to do, right? Fight what you want, what anyone wants? What I want?
The rules of the courts are not so simple.
I don't care about the rules of the court. Maybe the rules of the court need to change. Did you ever think of that? Does anybody ever think of that? I don't understand why I always have to lose in the name of the rules of the court.
Well, it is not sundown yet. Maybe you don't have to.
have to go. My sister is expecting me for lunch soon. I think a single tear rolls down her cheek of her carefully crafted steel look she normally carries.
The hand catches the tear as he pulls away. I don't know what these creatures will make happen. All I know is you have one more shot. Make it count, my flame. As he leaves. And Megara, you are alone in this room.
She lets out just a scream and probably hits the wall closest to her.
Give me another charisma saving throw.
3 + 7 is 10.
Megara, you let out this scream, and if this was a normal room, it would have echoed amongst the halls and the branches, and the very creatures and animals around the tree would have been shocked and frozen in fear. But what's the use of a secret room if you could just listen in? Megara, the floor around you ripples. As for a second you think the light is bending, and if anyone else was in this room, they would see this heat emanating from you. The walls scorch black, and the subtle markings of your body and his burn off of the wall. As you collect yourself and exit this room, the willowed curtain burns, and the room is swallowed up by the tree, leaving a deep, bright, but scorched scar in the side of Alessandra. As you meet your sisters for lunch, your father gathers Medea, Megara, Clotho, and Temric. Temric's there to carry stuff, to set stuff out, to hold things when your father doesn't want to get his hands dirty. I need a perception check from both of you.
Solid, 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 solid. That is a 16.
Oh, I got, what's 11 + 4? 15!
Okay. So a 16 and a 15. Both pass and will be rewarded. But I will say, and I've talked to Betty a little bit of what this scene looked like. And Kayla, we actually talked a little bit about it too, but not in as much detail. Medea, you were told that nothing could be lost.
Mm-hmm.
That this picnic, this trip to the waterfall had to be perfect.
It's just the 4 of us?
It
5
is,
of us?
Yes, it is you, your sisters, so 3 sisters, Oberon and Temric. You are on it the whole time. Any stranger, any besmirched path, you are on a mission.
Yeah.
And throughout the day, Megara would notice that maybe it's because Medea knows, or maybe it's because you don't know for sure, but Medea charges through. There's no sightseeing. It's we got to get there, we got to eat, we got to get back.
We're moving, people. We have an itinerary. Yeah.
On the 16, however, Medea, there is a point later on in the day where you hear something rumbling in the trees. And before I say what that is, Megara, with your 15, you are watching your father. He doesn't give any indication that what you've just heard is true, but you can't just trust to read past his poker face. He gambles, he lies, he cheats. What would his words and expressions tell you? Clotho tries to put up a front as she walks. You whisper something in Temric's ear as his eyes widen. And before Clotho can interrupt, he puts everything into the basket as you realize that the clamoring and the awkward holding of everything was more of at the whim of your dad, because this picnic basket can hold everything that he was told to carry. Oberon can be just a little cruel, as the basket is roughly the size of a 4x10 book, and you hold it. And at points in the day, someone who was close to you might smell a little burn of it, as like your touch and your anger is hidden, but is only shown in the way that the basket at the end of the day has slightly darker markings. Medea, the whole day, the whole journey picnic went almost without incident. But with that 16, you notice something rustling in the bushes, and a displacer beast lunged at you and your sisters. Can I have you roll an attack for me?
Yes, I can do that. Okay, what am I adding? Because I need it.
Well, that would be up to you and what you are attacking it with. How would you defend?
Man.
How would you defend your family?
I'm going to throw a shatter at it, which actually will be a con save on its end, and not an attack roll on mine. Ha! But, like, literally the second Medea senses there's anything going wrong in any way, shape, or form, she is going to send something there. She's going to look at her dad and send something there. Watch, I'm doing something about this, and then she's going to do something about it.
Megara, what do you think you would do in this situation?
Megara would fire a firebolt
Okay.
on instinct. I think she would step in front of wherever Clotho is, and I think kind of with the same knee-jerk reaction would attempt to... I mean, her fire's already begging to be released.
If you could also
Itching.
give me an attack roll.
Desperate, if you will.
You better work!
Okay, so that's like a 17 plus 7.
Work.
24?
There's this moment where y'all feel your training kick in. Medea, the shadow in the clearing grips to you as this force comes out and this beast is rocked to its side. Megara, you let out this fire and it hits and splits, and you think for a moment you've incinerated this thing. However, both of you casting at the same time, Medea, you feel your magic push Megara down as the shatter catches her, and Megara, you fall to the ground. And Medea, you have not deja vu because you've never cast this spell on her before, but almost as if you feel like this will happen again. Megara, you think for a moment that that push was from the beast, but that doesn't make sense. And as you feel the fire kind of surge and take over this thing, Clotho watches you with a look of not enough to be despair and not soft enough to be disappointment, but of affirmation as she just sits. Megara, as you hit the ground, you felt your flame get taken from you, as instead of the bright light that you cast, it turns a deep dark black as this figure of death comes out of the tree line with wings of shadow, and it decimates this displacer beast. Medea, you have your spell shoot out, and you watch Megara cast the fire, but you are covered in water as deep blues surround and almost whirlpool. You think you're not going to be able to breathe, but it stops. And in front of you, there's a shadow with elemental features. You don't see the skin or the hair or anything. It's just completely made of water with these deep blue eyes. As he had caught your wrist and lets go, and the water retreats. You see Clotho reach out for it, and he disappears. Megara, you feel this different type of flame in your chest as you see this displacer beast completely turn to ash. You remember the rest of your walk being quiet, not that you can't say anything to each other. I will, give you all a moment to talk. Very much aftermath of a car wreck. Something changed for you all.
Medea, as soon as it's not a problem anymore and the strangers are gone, is gonna go to both of her sisters and help both of her sisters up and to both of them. Are you hurt? Are you hurt with you fell? You fell. Are you okay?
Meg realized that Medea was the one that the shatter pushed her over.
It was the
And did she
acid.
take any damage?
Mechanically, as in like on your character sheet, no. I would say it would make Megara a little sore. You did get thrown quite a bit.
Yeah. Pops her shoulder back into place.
I will say no one except for Oberon looks unfazed by it. Even Clotho's a little ragged, but it's more of like wind and parts where the heat made her hair frizz up a little bit, or the water kind of smirched parts of her outfit. Megara is more shook by everything. Like
Feathers missing.
Medea has some burns on parts of her dress.
Yeah, yes. I'm fine. Are you alright?
I am. Clotho?
Clotho doesn't speak. She turns to your father, opens her mouth as if to say something, shakes her head, and walks back towards Alessandra.
Temric, where's Temric?
Megara, I will say that you sent him away.
Okay.
He does. You know that he's safe.
He's safe.
Okay. Well, that is enough adventuring for one day, then, I think. Right, Father? A very aggressively pointed look at Dad.
He looks around. Do we have everything? Is everyone good?
Temric is safe. We are here and safe. Does Temric have the basket?
Off. Probably. He did when I last saw him.
Medea, give me a insight check.
That's not good enough. Oh, that's just not good enough, is it? Oh, no. You said insight? That is an 11.
Megara, if you could give me either a persuasion or a deception check and text me the result.
I'll do... Do I have to say what one I'm doing?
No. It's either persuasion or deception. And through Discord, if you could just message me the roll, and I will say what happens.
Get that look off your face, Kayla. I swear to God. I'm gonna drive over there and I'm never gonna make you macaroni again. I swear to God.
Macaroni! Leave the macaroni out of this.
Medea,
Oh no.
as Megara says this, Megara, your hands were behind your back up to this point. You put them back in front and you are holding the basket. You have everything. So y'all think. You get back and you all split up, cleaning off, that sort of thing. Medea, your father visits you in your room, probably. How do you think that went?
Well, we didn't die. And everything that left with us came back with us. But I know you are unsatisfied, aren't you, Father?
Not all of being a king or a queen is about realizing when someone betrays you or believes in you. Sometimes it's about recognizing when everyone isn't on the same page. Megara held the basket. Temeric was holding the basket, and Megara held the basket. And that is fine. Everything that was in the basket was accounted for. However, that elemental, watery figure was given something by Clotho. Clotho was messing with a piece of leather. These two leathery bark pieces. You did everything right. You protected your sisters. But Clotho didn't know what your rule was for this. And in true Fey fashion, in being rescued, even though you and your sister had it completely handled, Clotho had let something be lost. So he is unsatisfied. Meet me in about... He looks outside. About as much time as it would take to eat some soup. Meet me with Megara. We have something to discuss. As he leaves. Medea, what is your immediate reaction?
It is no one's fault but hers that she lost. And if she had told Clotho, she knows Clotho would have listened. So it's her own fault for not giving the information to everyone present. And she sits with this and accepts it and waits. She doesn't probably go to dinner. She just waits until she knows it's time and will visit Clotho before she goes to see her father.
We'll have that interaction. But first, Megara, you get back to your room. I would say either fix or tidy or replace pieces that need to be.
She'll probably change. Complete outfit change.
Cool. I'm going to say for the sake of flavor, you start to get dressed as if like for dinner, right? Formal, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear your father once again. May we talk?
Of course.
How did you think today went?
Horribly.
Why?
The picnic seemed off, and my elder sister walked with a bit of more energy than she normally would, more confidence outside of these walls, and seemed to be focusing on one thing and entirely forgetting about others, other thoughts, other things.
And would you let your focus wander so?
Never. You trained me better than that. I am better than that.
I need another charisma saving throw.
Oh, We got a 6 this time. Plus 7 is 13.
Your father is quite a bit taller than you. Your hair almost identical, similar. For a brief second, if you weren't so confident in yourself, you would have caught a moment of fear, but only for half a second, jump across his face. As a steam, a singe comes from every article of fabric in your room. And these green and golden eyes flash right behind yours. He is shook for a second. Anyway, don't worry about that as much. As you know, with all things, she is to be given a second shot.
When?
As per usual. Now, actually. Soon. I have a gift for you. As he gives you a ring. He doesn't tell you what it is. You do have what it does mechanically. I'm about to make an announcement. You are not allowed to compete in the trial, but you are. I have taught you everything I know. You'll think of something. The corporal was looking for you. Make it quick, but talk to him before you come to the courtroom.
Understood.
And he leaves. Megara, you leave with a poise, a fiery spirit. Anyone who sees you as you go to the corporal, it's weird. You're not usually super intimidating. Like you don't scare people inherently, but there's something about the energy that you carry. You don't have to dodge or weave through people. It's as if the tree itself holds on to members of both courts as a stream of flame makes its way to the armory. The corporal has laid out a table. There's this hilt with a deep white, you can't quite tell if it's a rapier or just a short sword, but there's a white snake with blue eyes on that one. There's a spear with a collection of feathers and a fish scale point. There's a series of gloves, of daggers, of all sorts of weapons. As he chuckles. So I hear you are... I'm afraid I'm not allowed to say what I've heard, but how about an upgrade? Anything you wish?
Megara looks down, intent as she takes in this table. Is there anything like a warhammer on the table?
You do see the stick from earlier, gnarled. The mushroom actually split whenever you hit the corporal. Vostek laughs, and he puts both claws on the top of the table, shakes his head, and he looks up at you, and you see a reflection of the forge behind you. I thought you might ask that.
Got anything fun back there?
That would be selling it quite short. As we transition from there to where normally dinner would start to be presented, prepared. A lot of members of the high courts are around some of them had been told about the announcement, so they're a little confused when none of the coronation material is out and about and around. You don't see your mother, but as per usual, you can usually sense when she is in the room, even when she is not making herself seen. Oberon, never making eye contact with Medea, but presenting you to the rest.
Can I talk to Clotho before?
Yes, we'll do that. For flavor and for the fact that I said that you could do that. As he is talking, Medea is distracted as you remember the conversation, as you find your sister.
I'll just knock on the door.
Yes, sister?
Can I come in?
The door opens. You see that there's a tiny hippogriff, pure white, that goes to the door, and you see the little paw open, push the door, as Clotho is once again entrenched in thought, looking out her window.
I just wanted to say, and I'll step in and shut the door behind me. I know that something is troubling you, and I understand if you don't want to tell me, but you don't have to attend this evening if you do not wish. You can sit here in thought. I will make an excuse for you.
She shakes her head. She hesitates, but puts her hand on yours. She stands and, with all of the little strength that she holds in her form, grips your hand. She wouldn't miss this for anything.
Let me know if you need anything.
And she nods.
I'll put my hand like right here. I love you.
She opens her mouth, and we cut back to the moment in the room. She's still holding your hand. She might have said it, but you can't think about that now. As your father is making the announcement that a new trial is to take place, Medea, you will be put up against 3 challengers to hunt a simple white buck. The challengers being Vostek, your father, and making his first appearance, you see a collection of wild animals. None of them Fey, however. They're all material plane, squirrels, deer, that sort of thing. But in this sense, that kind of puts them out of place. As the Duke of the Sealy Court, an eldest son of House Sparks, enters the room, the final challenger, Medea, looks to you with a sense of disinterest in the hunt, but fascination in what is going on. My lady, are you prepared to lose?
You're in my court. No, I'm not.
Your court for one day more. Or did your father not tell you? You are to be mine, my beloved.
An aggressive look at my dad. Let the hunt begin.
Each of you are given a horse and some dogs, but the animals, again, are Fey in nature, so they look a little different. More color. Some of them have 2 heads. It's very mystical and extravagant. However, Medea, it does occur to you that this is not your expertise, your wheelhouse necessarily.
No. Nope.
And Oberon is once again messing with you.
Yeah.
Volstek decides to go on foot because as a bear, he's actually gonna have a little bit easier of a time.
Mm-hmm.
Your father
That's funny.
is mostly entering not to win, but to mess with people.
Yeah.
Connell takes his shoes off, and you see that like where his feet meet the earth, it's a little more green, and there's a little like tuft of mushrooms that pop up, and fireflies follow him, as you gather that he will probably be able to track it down easier on foot. Medea, are there any preparations that you want to make?
This is so not my forte, and I know it. I want to do what I can to mess with other people. No, I don't. Medea would do that. Medea is going to park herself next to Connell. I suppose if what you say is true, it would behoove you if I won.
And what would it prove if I just rolled over for you, Medea?
That you would fit right in here.
You do not think I fit in. That
No.
is shame.
I don't.
Well, we shall see. If you like, I will make sure your impertinent father can't mess with you.
I would. What would it cost me?
I don't know quite yet. The two of you kind of discuss and banter, and before the hunt goes underway, we see Megara leaning against a wooden pillar as an unidentified person with a simple green hood leans about 90 degrees. You have your back to them, but they are talking to you.
You've proven yourself trustworthy with your regular check-ins for informations on her. But now I need you to do something towards my other sister. If you're up for it.
As always.
And that's why I keep you around. You're skilled in many ways, as you have proven yourself. I need you to do something that no one else can know about. Are you loyal to me?
You know to whom my loyalty lies. But if you are saying what I believe you to be saying, I'll make it done.
That's what I appreciate about you, is that you get everything done in a timely manner. Do make sure that what comes next is done well with your usual touch. And make sure that, well, my younger sister is not suspicious of your absence.
Of course. As he does each time, you feel the prick of a rose in your hand. Pure white.
And do make sure that Connell doesn't get in much trouble. But obviously your order that I gave you originally comes first.
He doesn't respond. You feel the rose. You feel his absence. And it burns to ash, and any proof of this conversation is untraceable. Medea, I need an Arcana check a nature check. And I will say the third will depend on the two.
So, nature and arcana. Arcana and nature. My arcana is a 12. What a loser. And my nature is... Why did I lose the stat? 21.
Okay. Medea, you get going. You and Connell actually get split up fairly quickly. You are winding down the path, and at one point there's this willow tree with the face of what could most closely be described as a monkey. The branches each have wiry fingers at the end, and you are about to be grabbed, and Connell steps forward and is picked up, and it starts to toss him up and around. As Medea, you find this moment to be, okay, well, odd, but I have to win, and you leave Connell. On your nature check, you hear the crashing of trees as Voshtek, even though he is a hunter and militant in nature, he is there not to inherently win, but to contrast your style. He is there to be the brute force, and you're able to actually gather, as the forest is not typical to the material plane, the physics aren't quite the same. It's actually kind of a little too easy for you to find the deer in question. And you actually see that your father beat you to it. He sits on the stump of a tree that's been cut down. And he turns to you, Medea. What would you do? Will you take your throne?
You want me to kill it?
That was the trial. Has your mother made you soft?
Medea pulls out her dagger and approaches the stag.
I need you to make one more roll, and I would say, dependent on what you're trying to do.
Will it let me get close to it, the stag?
It depends. If you are rolling for stealth, you can try. If you are making an attack roll, you can try. If you are trying to perceive what's around you, you can try.
I want to stealth and approach it.
Okay. Give me a stealth roll.
That's a 17.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 5 is a 22.
Okay. Medea, your father vanishes, but only physically. You can feel his eyes still around you. As you sneak up to this deer, and its ears twitch, it does clock you. No, it doesn't. It keeps eating. You get closer. You actually get so close that you are able to hold its face in your hands. And you raise the dagger. And you watch the life leave its eyes, but you have not struck yet. You look around, and the form of the steer turns to smoke as you are holding its face, the color leaving its eyes. A crude circular blade was thrown from behind the nearest tree, and your hunch was stolen from you. As you hear behind the rage that fills your ears, the tremble, you were so close. Just behind the tree line, your mother and father arguing. You cheated. I did no such thing. No, you set her up to fail. I gave her a chance. You were the one who killed. I didn't kill it. You didn't kill it. I didn't. Wait. Medea, you, over the course of a couple minutes, find yourself walking. You get back with Connell. Volstek comes back. Your mother and father are not there at first, but Megara, you see your father enter the room with a quick darting sense of pure fear, as your mother, unlike she usually does, enters the room in her physical form, with her hand on the back of his neck, and the other dragging a hooded figure and throws them on the floor. As young Temric, shaking and quivering, looks to you, Megara, but then realizes that he can't make himself in this moment, and positions their head towards you, Medea. I am so sorry. I don't believe I had a choice. Talking to Medea, yes.
Temric, you understand I still have a hunt to win, don't you?
Well, I believe that you failed to complete it, so...
Was it you who killed the stag?
Before he can respond, all of the light on his face turns to shadow as you hear your mother's voice. You know it was, dear. If you want power, you have to seize it.
Will you leave some of him for me, Mother?
You feel a familiar cold take the room as the Seelie and Unseelie members of the court unintentionally make way as everyone hugs the wall. As Temric stands and turns to run, and as they do, the lights are out. And you get the feeling that the only ones that can see through this darkness, the Queen's shadow, is her husband and her daughters. As Temric looks around, you see the pupils of his eyes searching for light. Medea, up to this point, you had been holding the frame of the head. It had turned to in a rapid pace, a skull of a deer. The antlers were beautiful and symmetrical. Megara, you watch Temric's eyes find you, probably only because of the fire that burns behind yours. They were probably the last spark of light he saw, as your mother raises her hand in a way that is deceptively slow, but she does nothing on accident. As you all watch the face of Temric turn about 45 degrees and fall to the floor, completely white, the shadow pulls and tears, and he falls through the floor and is gone. Daughter, what you want to keep, you will have to take for yourself. And the light comes back. What are your immediate reactions to this?
Medea knows herself and knows that every single one of these trials has been set up for her to fail by her father. She knows he doesn't want her to take the throne and wonders if it's him that her mother is talking about, but saw Temric find Meg. Medea was never going to kill that deer. Meg would have. And Medea is going to turn to her sister. Where's Clotho?
Where is Clotho?
As you turn around, searching for your sister, the events of the party have started to pick up. Everyone is sat at the table of the royal family. You see Clotho. You watch your youngest sister, who up to this point y'all had protected from your training, from your fates, for the first time, looks with anger and hatred, although she doesn't know who to direct it at, and for the first time doesn't have a friend to talk it through with.
Emmy's gonna sit up at the table. I'm sure that's not the end of it. And she's gonna look at Meg. Is it? She's gonna look at her dad.
At this point, before your father can speak, your mother grips the top of the table, and the shadow from every goblet and from each of you reaches for her fingers. Before each of you are 2 glasses. One is of wine, the other is of water. If you wish to celebrate the reigning of the next king or queen, you drink the wine. But you, my children, if you believe that our power should be redirected, should be passed over, the water shall cleanse this court, and one of you will take the throne. Medea, what do you do?
I grab the water.
You see that there's also a water and wine in front of Vostek, Connell, other members of the High Courts. But you watch Connell reach towards the water, shake his head, grab the wine, and he looks at you, Medea, gives a shrug, and then lingers on you, Megra, and gives the same shrug. Megra, what do you do?
She lifts up the water, which is the one for more up in the air, right?
Yep.
Probably the one she would want. She looks at either of her sisters, not in the eye, but just like turns her head towards both of them. She grabs the goblet and raises it, and she looks at Connell, staring into his soul, and maintains eye contact as she downs the entire thing of water.
Medea, Megara, you both feel the soothing, normal taste of water. However, as both of you probably would assume, there's a poison that sets in as your throats close and your vision blurs and everything begins to become woozy as we hear 3 things. Medea, your head hits the table, your dishes fall. Megara, your hand sweeps your cutlery and your head hits the table. Both of you wake up in a dark wooden stage as you recognize that you are at the topmost platform on the tree of Alessandra. You hear a 3rd thud as Megara, Medea, you stand there ready to fight for the throne, expecting to see each other, not expecting for Clotho to be the 3rd to challenge. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.